If you feel overwhelmed, then it's most likely because you don't have a daily startup ritual or a daily review process. In this video, I'm going to show you my own process, which is integrated into the LifeOS dashboard. So essentially each morning you open up the startup page and then you go through these steps to just align yourself on your goal, the vision, the mission, and then just what's your most important task of the day that will actually move the needle forward, and what are your daily tasks and responsibilities which you scheduled the night before. And then also the daily review process to close all of the open loops, to review and reflect, to log it in your daily journal, and then also to plan the next day and time block it on your calendar. Both of these processes only take like 5 minutes, but it is crucial if you want to increase your mental clarity, reduce decision fatigue, and just remove overwhelm from your day. So let me walk you through both of these processes so you can use what you see as inspiration for your own Notion dashboard, or you can just check out the LifeOS dashboard in the description below, which already has all of this integrated inside. So first off, we have the daily startup page. So this is the first page that you interact with when you open up Notion, and you can click on this button on the LifeOS dashboard itself to just take you to that page. Then here you'll see we have a link to this daily startup page. The focus room, which I'm not going to cover in this video, but essentially this is where you go to get your work done. This is a focused view of your active projects that you're working on, today's tasks, a Pomodoro timer, and then just your current habits that you need to complete. And that's more or less it. So just to stay focused. And then the shutdown, which is the daily review section, which I will get to. But yeah, this is just quick links to navigate between those. Then we have the daily snapshot, which is the same as what shows here on the main dashboard. So you have your cover, you have a text that says good morning, evening, or afternoon, depending on the time of day. You have the habits that you still need to complete for the day. You have the tasks that you still need to complete. So if I go ahead and add a new task for today, then you'll see it shows up there. And then you also have your daily habit progress. So this is basically just a quick snapshot of what is going on for the day, what you still need to complete. Then we have our habit tracker with all of our habits. And then this view is showing all of your morning routine habits. So if I just go to the main dashboard, then over here, if I click on to do, you'll see that here is all of our habits grouped according to morning, afternoon, or evening routine. And depending on the time of day, it will only show that routine. So currently it is after 12 p.m. So it shows my afternoon routine habits. But on this view, it will only show your morning routine habits because you'll be opening this in the morning. So for example, cold shower, meditate, whatever you do in the morning, it will show here, and you can just click on done. And then obviously it will disappear from this view and it will mark it as complete. And as you can see, it updates the progress bar and it also marks it off here on your daily snapshot. So if I mark that one as complete, then you'll see that it disappears there as well. And then you also have the second view, which just shows all of your daily habits. And then the ones that you've already completed will just be grayed out. Then we have daily alignment. So obviously these are optional. You can add or remove these as you want. But this one is principles. So you can add in the principles that you want to live by, your values, how you make decisions to just remind yourself and keep you on track. Then we have reprogram your mind. So this is linked with the goal tracker inside of the LifeOS dashboard. So in here you have your different life areas. You have a radar chart showing your progress. And then you have goals. You have the identity that you need to become in order to achieve that goal. And then you have the KPIs to track it, and then also projects that you need to complete in order to achieve this goal. But then your identities can have affirmations, because in order to become the type of person that has what you want, you are lacking a skill, a belief, or a habit, or you need to remove limiting beliefs and remove bad habits. So in this case, we're focusing on the belief part of the equation. So this is the affirmations which you would basically tell yourself every day to reprogram your mind. So basically every morning you would just open up this toggle and then open up the identity and read through the affirmations to just recondition your brain. And then the next one is align with your vision. So over here we have the identity that you're becoming, just to sort of frame your entire day through this lens. Like the way you need to act throughout the day is as a focused entrepreneur or a disciplined athlete. And then you can also see your goals that is currently in progress. So what you're currently working on. And then also your vision board. So here would show the vision board and just a visual picture of the type of person you want to become and the life that you want to live, just to quickly align yourself on why you're actually doing the daily tasks. And then here is the daily tasks. So you would click on link week, and this will automatically link your daily journal to the weekly journal. So if I just go back to the LifeOS, then here you'll see we have the daily journal, then we have the weekly one, and then basically all the progress bars just shows throughout the weeks, months, quarters, and years. And then each of these also has a review process. So I'm going to show you the daily review process, but we also have a weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly review process, and it basically just zooms out. So on the daily level, it focuses on tomorrow's tasks. On the weekly level, it focuses on the week's projects. Monthly is the identity that you are working towards, that you need to become. Quarterly is the goals that you're trying to achieve, and then yearly is your major life pillar. So that's essentially how that works. But over here, you click on this button and it will automatically link whatever week that you're currently in. So currently it's 1st of September. So we've linked this week. And here you have focus project. So if this week has a project that you are focused on, it will show here to just again align yourself on, okay, I am focused on this project this week. And then here on the right hand side, it will show all of today's tasks. So all the tasks that has today's date, which you planned the night before through the daily review section. Then all of these will show up here. And then when you click on this button, which stands for most important task, it will then automatically link that task to your daily journal. So every day you have one core main focus task that you need to complete. So here you basically just select which one that is. And then it's like, okay, today's focus is this task. And then obviously you have other tasks as well. So, okay, I've gone through this process. I've aligned myself on why I'm doing this in the first place. I've completed my morning routine habits. Now let's go to the focus room and then actually just do the work. So this is your active tasks and projects, Pomodoro timer. And then at the end of the day, once you've completed all of your tasks and everything that you needed to do, you click on this one, and then this takes you to the daily review section. So just to quickly recap on the startup page, basically you create a page that is dynamic. So instead of clicking inside of your new daily journal, for example, okay, today I got this Monday journal, I click inside of this, and then inside of this journal, I have a bunch of things that I fill out. Instead of doing that, you have a database that automatically updates to the next day. For example, here, this will automatically show today, and then it will automatically show today's tasks. So you don't have to open up the daily journal and then go in there. Instead, you have something that is more dynamic, so it updates automatically, and that way this page stays the same and it just filters and shows the relevant information. So that is something important. Have a dynamic journal instead of a static one, and then also have some type of overview of your day, your habits that you need to complete. And here I have just the morning routine habits. And then you can add stuff like affirmations, or like obviously this can be whatever you want. Use this as inspiration for your own Notion dashboard. But here you have principles, you have the affirmations to reprogram your mind. You can align quickly on your vision, the identity, and your vision board, and then just basically set the focus task for the day, so that if you complete this task for the day, it's a win. That's essentially the goal here. You have one main focus, and then once you complete that, like you do that one first, then you complete everything else that is on your to-do list. But as long as you complete this focus task, you are moving the needle forward. So again, feel free to use this as inspiration, and let me know in the comments if you are adding things to your own startup page. I would love to get some ideas, and maybe there's even ways for me to improve this. But this is currently the one that I have that is inside the LifeOS dashboard, which again is linked in the description below in case you want to learn more about it. All right, so now let's go through the shutdown page. So this is your daily review process. And basically how this works is you have these three sections. The first one is for closing the open loops. So the reason you have a lot of mental clutter and chatter is because your open loops, the things that you know you still need to get to, isn't in a system that you trust. Because if you put all of those things into a system and you trust that you using the system will help you actually complete those things, you know that, okay, you will schedule it, it will get done, then it closes the open loop. Even if you haven't completed it yet, if you have a system that you trust, and if your system is good, like the LifeWise dashboard, then you can just dump everything in here and process it, and the open loops in your brain will close. So this is the purpose of this first section, just closing the open loops. Then we have review and reflect. So this will show your daily journal as well as the previous day's journal. And here you can add a few things, like I will go through this, but you can review your day and also reflect on it and basically identify how you can become better and improve. And then at the bottom, you have a section for planning tomorrow. So here you can plan tomorrow's tasks and then also time block it on your calendar. And then for the weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly review process, it works pretty much the same way. It has the same structure of capture, review and reflect, and then the focus. And this has a few extra things, like for example, the weekly one is linked with your finance tracker. So you have a chart that shows how much you spent that week on which expense source. You have a view that shows all of your subscriptions that went off that you did not yet log to your finance tracker, and then also invoices. So this just shows everything that does not yet have an invoice attached to it, so that you can just be on top of these things and basically clear your inboxes and clear your finances so that everything is up to date. And then obviously these are also a little bit different, but I'm not going to go into each of these. I already cover it in my full LifeWise walkthrough video, which you can check in the description below. But for now, let's go through the daily review process. And again, you can use what you see here as inspiration. So for capture, we have this text that just says clear your mind so your brain can rest, and then just a few sort of action items. So this is also like closing your browser tabs, clearing your sticky notes and everything that's on your table, basically just clearing your head and clearing your environment. And over here we have the task inbox, project inbox, and GTD inbox. So for the tasks, this will show all of the tasks that does not have important, urgent, state, or time rating attached to it. So here, if I say, okay, this task is important, but it is not urgent, then it will show the Eisenhower matrix. And then we have the state. So let's say this is a communication task, and the time rating, we estimate that this is going to take 1 hour. Then you've added in those 4 tags. It has been processed, so it will disappear from this view. So every day you want to make sure that this view is empty. Same with your projects, same with your GTD system. So this is just where you dump stuff and then decide whether or not it is actionable. And then you continue this further in the weekly review section. And then here is just your daily expenses, if you forgot to log them, your daily income, and then just your completed tasks for the day. And depending on your estimated time, so if I just open up this one and say that today I thought that this task was going to take 30 minutes, but actually it took 1 hour, and you add that in, then it will show your time accuracy for the day. So why this is important is because if you time block incorrectly, then you basically every day underestimate how much work or how long things are going to take. And then you're always going to feel like you're trying to catch up and you're being reactive. So this helps you just get a better sense of accurately time blocking your days. So with me, for example, I always underestimate how long something is going to take. I always think I can do a lot more in a short amount of time. So now when I time block and I add this time rating, I always just add an extra 30 minutes. So instead of 1 hour, I add 1.5 hours. And this has helped me more accurately time block my days. So it increased my time accuracy, and I'm not underestimating the tasks anymore. So this is why this is important, is if you're bad at time management, it's just because you're not accurately planning your tasks and planning your day, because you're probably underestimating the tasks or how long it's going to take. So you can use this to just get better at time management. And then underneath we have the review and reflect section. So this will show today's journal and also yesterday's journal, so you can compare. It will show the date, the habit progress, your productivity score, which you can log over here. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how productive were you? Let's say today was an 8 out of 10. You click on this one and then you'll see we have a 80% productivity score. And then for energy, you open up this and then you just click on log next to your energy levels, like how energized were you throughout the day. So all you focus on is increasing these numbers and completing your tasks, and that way you will achieve your goals. Then we have the focus tasks. So this will show the tasks that we set in the daily startup page. We have a checkbox that will show whether or not this task is complete, and then also a checkbox that we can manually check if we stayed focused throughout the day. And then we also have the link week button in case we haven't clicked it on the daily startup page. And then you also have this one, which is linking your macros. So this will link today's macro tracker database entry, which automatically gets created every day. And if you go to this view, then you'll see today's macro tracker. And here you can add in your calories, protein, carbs, and fats. It will show progress bar. And if you open this, then it has the full macro tracker inside, which is inside of the LifeOS. So over here, macro tracker, and you have a full dashboard to track your macros. So this is already integrated inside of the system, and then you can link it with your daily journal. Then for the reflect view, here you add in something you're grateful for, your story worthy moment. So what is the highlight of the day? Your daily snag, which is a challenge or obstacle you overcame, and your daily win, which is something that you're proud of accomplishing that day. So very short and simple. You don't want this to be too long because you're going to be doing it every day. So that is the review and the reflect section. We have the macro tracker over here. So again, you can add in your macros and it will show the total and the difference between your targets. So my target for protein is, for example, 130 grams, which you just set by changing this. And then this will update and it will show the progress bar. And then over here, it will just show all of the habits that you have not yet completed that day. So if you can, just quickly complete these habits, just quickly meditate or time block like this you will be doing here. So this also just shows all the habits that is still outstanding for the day. And then speaking of time blocking, the next section is to plan tomorrow. So this will show all of the tasks that is either next, now, or in progress. So the stuff that you're currently busy with. And then if you have added the state, it will show there. And then you can essentially just drag and drop it on your calendar. So you drag and drop it for tomorrow, and then it will show all the state tasks. And then you can click on this view, which will then show tomorrow's tasks. So this one, for example, it shows the state. So the idea here is that you batch the same state tasks together. So all of your content tasks you do in the morning, all of your admin tasks you do in the evening, as an example. And then this will just show like the estimated time, the Eisenhower matrix, the project that it relates to, and then your actual time block if you have time blocked it. And also important with the estimated time, if this number is like 13 hours, then that is not realistic. So you want to cut back on that. So use this and the time accuracy over here to accurately plan your days. And then once you've added in a realistic amount of tasks for tomorrow, then what you do is you just click on manage in calendar, and then this will open up Notion calendar. And then in here, you will see your tasks, and then you can just drag and drop it onto your calendar and then time block your tasks in. And then on this view, so if we also do the same with this one, let's drag this over here, then you'll see that on the tomorrow view, it will automatically sort it according to the time block. And then you can just quickly double check to see if this makes sense in terms of the context switching, the estimated time, the Eisenhower matrix. And yeah, that is essentially how you plan tomorrow. So very simple. It will show all of your next and upcoming tasks. You just drag and drop them onto your calendar under tomorrow. Then you can see whether or not it is realistic in terms of the time frame and the states. What are the different states of the task? And then you go into Notion calendar. You just drag and drop it in and you time block your tasks together. And then we also have the second view, which just shows all of your projects according to the timeline view. And again, same thing as with the daily startup page. This is dynamic, meaning I don't click inside of my Monday daily journal, for example. So if I go to my LifeOS, I don't click inside of this one and then fill in the journal or plan tomorrow. I just go to the same page every day, and then this is just updated. So this will show the relevant day and the relevant tasks, and this is just filtered and updated automatically so that you don't have a static journal. You want a journal that automatically updates. So instead of you going into the journal, you pull the journal to you. So that is like the biggest key when it comes to daily journaling and reviewing and planning your tasks, is you want one place, one page that you go to where you can do everything, because it automatically updates. So to just quickly recap, first you close all the open loops, you reduce the mental clutter and chatter in your mind, then you review and reflect on the day, and more specifically on your energy levels and your habit progress, because that affects your productivity score and you actually getting the work done. And then you plan tomorrow, you accurately time block your days, and you plan the next day the night before, so that when you wake up, you know what you're doing and you don't have decision fatigue. And the purpose of the system is to help you get better at time and energy management, because those are the two inputs that you need in order to get the output of making more money. So just keep that in mind when you're building your own daily review process, which I would highly recommend you do, as well as the startup ritual. This only takes like 5 to 10 minutes, and it helps a lot when it comes to decision fatigue, increasing mental clarity, reducing overwhelm, because you align yourself on what is actually important, what will move the needle forward, and you have a feedback loop, so you actually know whether or not you're accurately planning your days and also managing your energy effectively, because if you don't have energy and time, you're never going to be able to make more money, because you either have money or you have time, and in order to effectively use your time, you need energy. So that's the purpose of the system and just this entire review process. You wake up with clarity, you execute, and then you have a feedback loop to get better and basically sustain your levels of productivity throughout the weeks and months. And yeah, that is more or less it for the daily review system and the startup ritual. I really hope you found this useful and insightful. And again, both of these systems is already integrated into the LifeWise dashboard, which if you want to learn more about, then click the video that's on the screen now for a full walkthrough of my LifeWise dashboard. I'll see you there.